Hey everybody, alright, you got Fitz in the car again, no funny shirt, in the car out in the middle of nowhere, but I have things to talk about, so I'm putting it up right now. Really, it's a big day today. Wanted to get this out there because college football starts tonight. I know a lot of you guys, just like myself, have been waiting since January, for the college season to start back up. We got the NFL starting a week from today. Awesome. This is my favorite time of year because you're still really high in the beginning of the football season. It doesn't get, till week 12 in the NFL where it starts to drag a little bit. Right now you're high on it. You haven't seen it for a while. We went through a lockout in the NFL, but we're really here to talk about college football right now. You still got baseball going on, so I'll be watching the Yankees tonight play the Red Sox, and hopefully our boy A.J. Burnett can find a way to win a game. But you know what? I'll be flipping the channels. I'll be looking at some other things. So, you're going to see a lot of college football talk this season, coming from Fitz and Vig. We're going to be picking a lot of games, and I'm going to start that tonight. There's just a few handful of games tonight. None of them are big games. Let's be honest. The thing with college football is a lot of the big schools especially don't start with tough games. And now I shouldn't say everybody. It's just most of them. Yes, there's a big LSU-Oregon game this Saturday, and that'll be a good game. But for the most part, what happens is college football, there's no preseason. There's no scrimmages like there is in the NFL. So a lot of the power schools have to start off with an easy little patsy team just to get their confidence up, get a nice win under the belt and work on the offense. And that's going to start with my first pick for tonight, and that's the Wisconsin-UNLV game. UNLV, not that much in the world of college football. They're going to Wisconsin to play. Wisconsin's a 35-point favorite, and that's something I'm going to say here. Is you see a lot of these garbage pickers who just pick the winners, specifically NFL. They pick the winners of every game without any spreads every week. That's ridiculous. You know what? You get to the end of the season, one guy's 95-16, the other guy's 91-20. How does that do anything for you? Especially if you're putting money on the game, you need to pick it with the spreads. And I'm not saying to put any money down on my picks, but you know what? I don't mind throwing a few bucks around here and there, and here's how I would go if I were to put any money down. And so, like I said, Wisconsin, 35-point favorite to UNLV. If they were playing in Las Vegas, I might give the nod to UNLV just due to the heat changes. But Wisconsin, they're going for a national title this year. They have that huge, incredible offensive line. 35 is a lot for them because they're a running team, and it's hard for a running team to put up 35 more points than it is for a passing team to do so. But still, we're going for a 35-point favorite over the weak UNLV, specifically because it's up in Madison, and it's a home game for them, and they're going to want to get their season started with a big win. And we know last season they put up like 70 on a couple teams, so they can do it if they need to. Second one I'm going with is here in the Big East. It's a Wake Forest versus Syracuse game. Similar idea. This one's Wake Forest is traveling up to Syracuse. Syracuse is a 6-point favorite, and they have that game at home. I like 6-point favorites for home favorites. Here's why I like it. Because most games are won, there's a wide range of point spreads that games are won, but you figure 7 is the perfect touchdown score. So a 14-21, you win the game. Also, 6 pops up a lot, so you get the 20-14. And with that, you push this kind of game. Wake Forest is a team that's not really going anywhere. Syracuse is actually on the rise. They had a strong season last year. They're bringing back a lot of starters. We're going Syracuse, taking the 6 up at home. Now we're moving on to a little more obscure game, but I kind of like picking this one. It's Villanova-Temple. That's the Battle of Philadelphia. It's not big names for you guys, but I think this one's a good one to pick, and here's why. Villanova's playing at Temple, and they're 4-point underdogs. Temple had a huge year last year, but they lost a lot. They lost their first round draft pick, their defensive tackle, to the Jets. They lost a couple other people in the draft, and most importantly, they lost their coach, Al Golden, down in Miami. Now, if there's one guy who wish he didn't leave his school, I imagine it's Al Golden. He'd be more than happy to take the easy living in Temple than he would in that mess that's going on down there at the U right now. But either way, Villanova is 4-point underdogs, playing at Temple. Yeah, you want to give a little bit of credit to the home team, but you know what? These schools are no more than, 5-10 miles from each other. So it's going to be a close game. Villanova's going to have a lot of fans there. And you know what? Villanova's perennially always a good team. They're one of those always in the championship for that, what do they call it now? The Bowl Conference Subdivision or Bowl Championship Subdivision. Ridiculous. It's 1AA, and they're always in the running for the championship there. Temple's a very up and down team who's been riding high lately, but it might be time for them to come down. Go with Villanova and get your 4 points. Next one is you're going to see Fitz every week pick probably two games, and whether I want to or not, Rutgers and Notre Dame. Those are two teams that I love and I follow, so I'm going to pick them. Whether I like having to pick the spreads or not, I'll do so just to give you guys my opinion. And that's one of the issues with tonight. Tonight, Rutgers is playing the ridiculous, I think it's the, Sisters Friars of the Poor school, or maybe it's North Carolina Central, whatever they're going by nowadays. Either way, not a big-time school. This is just like I said before, where the larger schools like to pick on a small guy to start the season. They're playing the North Carolina Central at home, 42.5-point favorites. That's ridiculous. Rutgers graduated a lot of people last year. They had a lot of turnover in their coaching staff and their starting lineup this offseason. They did bring in a huge offensive talent in Siobhan Huggins, but you know what? He's a tailback. He's not a wide receiver. He's not a quarterback. So like I mentioned with Wisconsin, it takes time to put 42.5 points up on the board. It's hard to do that when you're just running the ball. He's not going to stay in the game more than half if they're up by 20 at halftime. So with that, we're picking North Carolina Central and the 42.5 points. You got to believe that they're going to stay within that range on a team like Rutgers, who's not a Wisconsin, who's not an LSU, a Florida, for instance. And Rutgers also has the history of playing down to their competition. So with that, I'd put my money on North Carolina Central just to stay within six touchdowns. 6 touchdowns. Think about that. So either way, I'll be watching tonight along with the Yankees-Red Sox, and stay tuned for more picks heading into the weekend.